What up guys, Alchemist here, and I got something nice for you. So the main fundamental thing in most RPG games are to be a good player at them is your character should always have a buff on them. Even the pros of pros will tell you if you don't have a buff on your character non-stop, you are weak, you're not good at the game, you're throwing. So today I did everybody RPG fantasy if you're an RPG lover like me. When you get in-game content in RPGs, the main thing you do is see how many buffs you can get on your character and how much damage you can do. Basically making a build that makes you unkillable and making you feel like you're the final boss in the game. So today I ended up making a long awaited build I've been wanting to make. I just had to wait till the stars align with the artifact again for me. Haven't seen an artifact this good since freaking beginning of Final Shape, right? I decided to make a build that uses every elemental buff known to man in the game for you. So I'm gonna try to make this quick and just hit the key moments of, well, the key points of this build, and then y'all just copy the dim link down below so y'all understand how the build work and what's all in the kit. First, we starting out with Void. We're gonna break down the sections for each buff so you know how you got it, because yeah, it's a lot. Okay, first, Void. We get in Devour in this build by using Buried Bloodline. This is the necessity for this build. I'm sorry if you don't have it, Grind Warlord Ruins, but this is the necessity for this build. Buried Bloodline gives you Devour. It says when you get multiple final blows with this weapon, grant Devour for the wielder. You kill one yellow name and get Devour, or kill a couple red names, get Devour. And then also when you shoot people with this weapon, it leeches health away, so you get some health while you're shooting enemies with the weapon as well. And then if you got the catalyst done while you devour, this weakens enemies like on hits. This is important because the second buff we're gonna have in Void is Void Overshield, and the way we get that is the artifact, the boosted artifact for Malign Harvest, which basically says applying weaken provides a small Void Overshield. So not only are you gonna be getting kills with Devour on from Buried Bloodline, when you got Devour on with Buried Bloodline, every time you shoot an enemy, you will be getting an overshield like you have Repulsor Brace. So now you're getting full health back, and you're getting a Void Overshield with this. And Buried Bloodline Devour works like Warlock Devour, I believe, where you just get full health. It don't do the half health. So that's two of the Void buffs out the way. Overshield, Devour, and the last Void buff is Invisibility. And since we're a hunter, we're rocking Status Executioner. As long as we kill an enemy, an elemental debuff on them, we go invisible. That's all three Void buffs. But also, because of the artifact, we also gonna be having volatile rounds whenever we get these Void kills with Buried Bloodline. So if you consider volatile rounds as a buff as well, don't worry, we got that covered as well. And then Buried Bloodline is doing weakening for that extra 15% damage to the enemies. So that's every Void verb. That's every buff and debuff. Okay. Now Solar. The two buffs in Solar is Restoration and Radiant. The way we're going to be getting Radiant is from, get out of it, Facet of Dawn. So whenever we throw our Threaded Spike, we will get Radiant from it bouncing off the enemies. So yeah, that's how you get Radiant. And if you kill the enemy with this, it'll give Radiant to your whole team. You also can choose whatever shade step you want on this build. So if you want to rock Acrobat's Dodge, so you can give your whole team Radiant, or if you want to give yourself Radiant without having to use a melee, this is also up as well. But if you're rocking Gambler's Dodge, you're going to be getting your melee back anyway from shade stepping your enemies. And then Threaded Spike is just very good for getting your melee back quick because of the melee energy you get from each enemy it bounces off of. So that's how we get Radiant in this build. And then we got Faster to Purpose on. Whenever we pick up Orb Power, we get whatever buff that our super is on, and our super is on Golden Gun. So we will be getting Restoration whenever we pick up an Orb of Power in this build. So that's the two buffs for Solar, man, Radiant and Restoration. So that's Solar out the way now. And then of course, if you're wondering about the debuff for Solar, if you want to know if you can add that in too, debuff for Solar is your prismatic, our Hellfire Spike. It does Ignitions and Scorch when it's ticking on enemies. So boom, there go the debuffs for that as well. But if you want the regular Scorch debuff, you can put on Nice Trick. I don't recommend it, but you know, if you love Nice Trick, there you go. Now, Arc. I went out of it. The way we're going to be getting the Arc buffs is Bolt Charge and Amplified. Ascension. Whenever we use Ascension, we get Amplified. to us and our teammates, and it does joke. So if you look for the debuff for art, there you go as well. Ascension does debuff for art. And then the way we're gonna be getting bolt charge is 2 ways. We got watchful eye on this build. You don't have to have this on. I'm just throwing this in because this is what I have in my build. But you got watchful eye with rolling storm. So whenever we kill an enemy with this machine gun, we get bolt charge, and we get bonus if we're amplified while doing this. So stacks together. But then also in our artifact, we got dielectric on. So whenever we kill an art debuff target, we get a bolt charge. So we amplify kills. If we use ascension to kill the enemy with ascension, we get bolt charges from doing that. And then of course we got flash over in the build to make the bolt charges stronger. And if we get 10 bolt charges, we get amplified from getting 10 bolt charges. So that's another way to get amplified. And then we got a defibrillating blast on to jolt the champion that we stun with a bolt charge. But also to make all our bolt charges do jolt and give us health back when we trigger a bolt charge. So there go all the verbs for arc. If you want blinding, you can take off disruptor spike. I just prefer the extra debuff on enemies from severing them. You can take out disruptor spike and put on photonic flare, which will give you blinding, because then you will actually have all the verbs for the debuffs in arc as well. You will have blinding, jolt, bolt charge, and amplified. So, you know, preference up to you if you want to put on photonic flare for the blinding. But yeah, I just prefer the extra debuff on enemies with severing them. Now, that's arc, solar, and void out the way. Now we have Drain only got 1 buff, and that's Woven Mail, and we're using Spirit of Signorachny. You need this class item, Signorachny and Spirit of Renewal. You need this combination for this build. Signorachny, whenever we throw our grenade, we get Woven Mail for 10 seconds. So that's how we get Woven Mail. Our 30 spike is doing Sever. Again, I chose Disruptor Spike for the 52% debuff on the enemies when it comes to their damage output instead of 40%. If 40% is okay with you, because survivability is very easy to build, you can definitely go with Photonic Flare and make it that your machine gun is blinding if you want every debuff in the game, right? Every buff and debuff, right? So we also got the artifact for Unraveling Orbs. So whenever we're using our strand weapon, we have in this build, you want a strand weapon in this build. Every time you shoot somebody, when you pick up an orb or you throw a tangle, you will get unraveling rounds. So now you got unraveling in this build, Sever in this build, Woven Mail in this build, and then you got Threatlings in this build. Where basically, whenever you shoot an enemy that got unraveling on them, it makes Threatlings. The only thing we don't got in this build is suspend, and sadly, hunters cannot suspend with prismatic. No matter what we do, we cannot suspend, sadly, right? Alright, so that's strand out the way, and then of course stasis, y'all already seen it. Spirit of Renewal. We got dust field grenades on, so whenever we throw our dust field grenade out, if we stand inside our dust field grenade, we get frost armor. So we'll be getting frost armor and Woven Mail at the exact same time whenever we use our dust field grenade. And dust field grenade is good for throwing at enemies to slow and freeze them. So that's how you get the slow and freeze, debuff, and stasis. And we got our prismatic grenade that does slow and freeze as well. So that's what we got for stasis. So the only debuff we're missing in this build, theoretically, is suspend, because we have no way to suspend on hunters in this build, prismatic. But everything else, you got every buff and every debuff in the game. And I didn't want to stop there either. I was like, F it, we're gonna go with the other buff too. So I put on heavy ordnance regeneration to make it that we get our melee and grenades back quicker, but also we get times to resist to stack on with everything inside the kit. When I tell you this kit is overdoing it, like overbroken, is overbroken. I truly believe you don't even need to have Golden Gun on as your super if you don't want Restoration on. You could go Silence Wall, and then you could change your class item to, instead of Renewal and Signorachny, you can change it to Inmost Light and Signorachny, so you can spam your abilities more consistently. And yeah, you wouldn't have to run Dust Field grenades either. You can run a different grenade after that because you're picking up Orbs for Frost Armor. So you can go that route as well if you wanted to. Now, the other fragments we got, we're rocking, again, you can run whatever shade step you want. This build is very adaptable, okay? So you can run whatever class build you want. I like rocking acrobat dodge and popping Ascension for my team, so I get my full team amplified and radiant at the same time. So I love doing this for my team play. I love doing Threaded Spike to sever enemies, but you can truly choose whatever melee you want in this build as well. You gotta run Dust Field Grenade for the class item. Stylish Executioner to go invincible, but if you feel like your survivability is very good and you don't need it, you can definitely put on Threaded Spectre so that survivability is a bit better as well from whenever you pop a fragments. You have to run Faster to Hope, so we're gonna be having all the elements buffs on them. Now we'll get our class ability back quicker, you feel me? Faster Protection for the extra survivability. We're rocking Faster to Balance because we will be getting a lot of darkness and light kills, so you might as well feed into our melee and grenade energy coming back quicker. Faster to Purpose, of course, like I said, for the golden gun restoration. And then we're rocking Faster to Die for the radiant whenever we throw our Threaded Spike and it bounce off the enemies. Now, cool interaction here. We got Faster of Balance on, so when we get light kills with our Buried Bloodline, we'll be getting melee energy back. But also, Buried Bloodline gives us Devour, so whenever we get kills with Devour on, it gives us grenade energy, which help us spam our Dust Field Grenade more often, so we can keep getting our Frost Armor and Woven Mail uptime up consistently. The mods we're rocking, here go the mods. Running Siphon for Voiding Strands, that's what we're rocking our weapons. Special ammo finder for Buried Bloodline, so we don't have to worry about special ammo like that. If you want to run double special build with this, you can. Just make sure you put on 2 special ammo finders and just 1 Void Siphon for Buried Bloodline. But yeah, if you want to run double special with this build. I'm running Impact and Dust, so when I spam me my Threaded Spike, I get grenade energy back and class ability back, and then we're running grenade kickstarts just so we can have even more uptime on our Dust Field Grenade, so we can spam it even more. Rocking Resistance in our chest piece for whatever activity you run at that moment. You do not need to have grenade kickstart on. I just did this for preference. You can take this off and still succeed. You do not need this on, okay? If you feel like this clashing with your surges, then by all means you can take it off, right? Lead piece, I got 1 Strand Surge and 1 Void Surge on for my 2 weapons I'm using, and then I got 1 Recuperation on. If survivability is good, you do not need Recuperation on. You can definitely take Recuperation off and put on I believe it's called Innovation, where you pick up an Orb of Light, you get grenade energy back. You can definitely put Innovation on instead, so when you pick up orbs, you get your Dust Field back more often for your combo with the Woven Mail and Frost Armor. And then in our class item, we're rocking Faster Restoration, just has more recovery on our build. Again, like I always tell you guys, hunters die because of low recovery, because we got to build our stats and other things. So plus 30 in recovery don't hurt nobody. Rocking Special Finisher in case we do get in a situation we need our special ammo back. And then we got Proximity Ward so that we got our overshield when we're doing finishing moves on people. We're not rocking Reaper because Ascension does not prop Reaper, sadly, so it sucks. Wish it did, but it doesn't. That's everything. You can rock whatever strand weapon you want, just make sure you have strand on. You need Buried Bloodline, and then you can rock whatever heavy you want, to be honest. You do not need to rock a machine gun if you don't want to. I basically told y'all every mod you gotta have in here. You do not have to have on heavy or in this regeneration. Your heavy slot is 100% free to use whatever you want to use, so you can definitely change. You just need the Defibrillating Blast on because it's too good for in-game content. So whatever you want to put on after, you can definitely put on Limit Break if you want Golden Gun to do more damage. You can definitely put on freaking Particle Reconstruction if you decide you want to rock a Linear Fusion. Those are the only ones I recommend. I do not recommend Elemental Supercharger, and Void Flux is redundant. You do not need Void Flux on, okay? You do not need this on to spread Volatile. You're going to have Volatile from Volatile Marksman. Even though this does combo with Buried Bloodline, because every shot you do weaken targets. So when you do kill the weakened targets, it will spread Volatile to nearby targets. So if you do put this on, it ain't going to hurt you. It ain't going to hurt you, but I just believe there's other stuff in the artifact that's better. Peek the Drip, by the way, I gotta point it out, because I know we're doing every buff and debuff on this build. I popped out with the Ice Leg piece for Stasis, the Solar Chest piece for Solar, the Void Arm piece for the Void in our build. I'm already going for Electricity whenever I pop Amplified, so I didn't put an Arc piece on because it looks too bland on this build. And then I don't have a Strand Helmet because I missed out on buying that armor set, so I just went with the skull to make it look very menacing, which I think I did a very good job on. But if I did have a Strand Helmet, the Strand Helmet would have been on just to represent all the elements in this build. It would have just looked amazing. But hope you guys enjoy the build. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys always. And until next time, stay up.